It's time to book a Varsity Media Sportscast and get on the big stage. A Varsity Media Sportscast is seen by thousands of people, both live and on demand, from friends and family all over the world to prospective college coaches. Our announcers will help tell the story of your team and your athletes. There is no bigger stage to be on than Varsity Media. Book a sportscast today by contacting Varsity Media.
Every day opens a new door to learn, to grow, to connect with special people. People who in big ways and small improve your life. Every moment, another chance to achieve a goal, to buy a home, grow a business, start a family, and build lifelong relationships. Bank with trust. Bank with experts. Bank Maspeth.
Christ the King High School is the venue for tonight's Brooklyn Queens Championship. The Royals, they're looking to bounce back from 2 regular season losses to the defending champs, Veer Anthony, and the Terriers have made their way down to Metropolitan Avenue. It is St. Francis Prep, it is Christ the King, it is the Brooklyn Queens Championship game presented by Maspeth Federal Savings. Thanks so much to Maspeth Federal Savings just down the road on 69th Street here in Maspeth for their sponsorship. Well, a pleasant good evening, everyone. Dylan Butler alongside Oliver Antigua for what is the first of our big games, right? It's not quite March, but it is March. It's a championship game. It's 2 teams well-versed in playing this type of game. And both teams also probably the best version. Certainly Christ the King is. St. Francis Prep, they overcame a little bit of a speed bump at the end of the regular season, but they had a huge win against Stepinac, and it's all on the line tonight for the Brooklyn Queens Championship. Loser does not go home, but don't tell either of these 2 teams this means nothing.
Absolutely, Dylan. And we spoke to the coaches. They know the importance of getting this win today. Brooklyn Queens final championship, get that 1 seed. It really sets the tone for the one-and-done tournament, our version of March Madness.
That's right. And Christ the King, we saw them early in the season this year. And in fact, actually, before we get into them, let's take a look at the bracket, see how these 2 teams, Oliver, got to this stage, and 2 really interesting semifinals. You were here for those 2.
Christ the King played terrific, swarming defense, really the best I've seen them play. Shout out to Coach Arbitello and staff getting the team ready. They came out and really from front to end led a really good Nazareth team with a player of the year, held them in check to only 11 points, Halon. And Christ the King guards were terrific, really got 4 guys in double figures.
So Christ the King, the best version of themselves. And you see at the top of that bracket, it was St. Francis Prep, a game they wanted no part of playing. Another rivalry game against Holy Cross. And the Terriers got out to a quick start. They literally survived and advanced to this championship game. So the Royals, a very young team early in the season. A team, when we first saw them against Iona Prep, they had no size. But then the Zulik brothers came in from Serbia. Suddenly now there is size. But also what you have now at this time of year, Oliver, is you got a lot of experience. Guys who have played meaningful basketball games. Listen, Christ King will always play a national schedule, right? Potentially 6 state champions on their schedule. Some of those losses, you're starting to see the benefit here late in February.
Absolutely, and Coach Arbitello talked about those learning lessons, those tough games against those great teams really helped battle test his guys for this time of year, the playoffs. As all these games are going to be tough. They're going to be hard. They'll come down to 1 or 2 possessions. The team that's playing the best together and focus and limits mistakes usually comes out on the winning end.
And Christ the King, we saw early in this season, and we'll take a look again now. Certainly 2 terrific players and 2 seniors. It means something a little bit different when you're a senior and you know that the end is coming up soon. You don't want it to be the next couple of games. You want it to be on that second Sunday in March. But Markel Alston, Jaden Ramirez, a big part of Christ the King's DNA this year.
Yeah, fantastic duo, backcourt, really important here. Let's take a look at Markel Alston, a 6'2" senior guard, second team all-league selection, the quarterback of the Christ the King offense, 13 points a game, team leader in assists, 120 on the season, 14 points versus Nazareth. Last game out, showed his range, knocking down deep shots, really impressive. And his partner in crime, Jaden Ramirez, 6'4" combo guard, can do it all, second team all-league, team's leading scorer at 14 points a game, 35% from deep, and guards the opponent's best player. He brings intensity, energy every single game, and he's a key tonight in a big matchup against St. Francis Prep.
And you mentioned Ramirez guarding the other team's best player. He was a big reason why Halon Rollins, the league's player of the year, was held in check in the semifinals.
No question, did a fantastic job. Really tough, hard-nosed, throwback player, terrific. And you need guys like that to do whatever the coach wants to get a win. Some nights are scoring, some nights are shutting down the best player, making extra passes. Jack of all trades, really skilled. Sure looking for him to have a big impact today.
And for St. Francis Prep, they're a team that we saw earlier this year get out to an incredible start. A lot of people thought their matchup at the end of the regular season against Stepanak would be the final 2 teams undefeated in league play. But then came, we mentioned before, that speed bump. And it was right down Francis Lewis Boulevard. A loss to Holy Cross, followed by a loss to Mount St. Michael. And now it's that circle the wagon moments. Who are we? What do we want to do with this season? Their response, an emphatic win against Stepanak at the end of the regular season. And then another clawing, battling matchup against Holy Cross. This is a team that, listen, they've made the semifinals the last 3 years in the intersectionals. They won this game a year ago, beating Nazareth on their home court. They have very high expectations come March.
Absolutely, and they really need to look to make that next step and really want to finish as city champions. And they have the team to do it. They have all the weapons, great coaching, and a couple of their players are pretty good, Dylan.
More than a couple, but 2 that we will mention is our impact players of the game. 2 first team all-league selections, Veer Anthony and Osmana Sacco.
And let's take a look at Veer, number 10, a 6-foot senior guard, first team all-league, 16 points a game. He went for 43 earlier in the year, can get really hot, makes all the winning plays. He's a team leader, team captain of the ship for Coach Lynch and the Terriers. And his next up, his running mate, the Big O, Osama Sacco, 6'8" junior, first team all-league selection, player of the year candidate. He's a tough guard, can beat you inside and out. He can attack the rim and finish with the best of them. He is a tough guard, and Christ the King will have the hands full with the Big O.
Yeah, Straw is likely the guy who will face Big O, Osmana Sacco. You see his numbers nearly averaging a double-double this season. So, Oliver, we spoke with both head coaches leading into this game, and both Joe Obertello and Jimmy Lynch, they gave us their keys to the game.
And keys to the game for St. Francis Prep, really important to get back in transition, especially with the talented guard play of Christ the King. They want to keep their guards out of the lane. They can all dribble, drive, and beat you off the bounce and handle whatever they throw at us. Coach Arbotello is a veteran, over 300 wins. I'm sure he's got something up his sleeve. This is the 3rd time they're playing this season. And for Christ the King, keys for them is coach wants them to play with intensity, play with toughness, and play with pace. If they're in transition, they're deadly. They're getting shots, driving kicks. puts a lot of pressure on defenses to keep them from scoring the basketball.
Get ready, folks. We're going to be in for a doozy. It is Christ the King. It is St. Francis Prep. The Brooklyn Queens Diocesan Championship on the line here tonight from Christ the King High School, live on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Every day opens a new door to learn, to grow, to connect with special people. People who in big ways and small improve your life. Every moment, another chance to achieve a goal, to buy a home, grow a business, start a family, and build lifelong relationships. Bank with trust. Bank with experts. Bank Maspeth.
We're going to keep this quick.
Because at Blaze Pizza,
artisanal quality at crazy fast speed is what we're all about.
Walk the line and choose any toppings you'd like.
Then it's just 180 seconds in our blazing hot oven
For fast fire perfection.
Come check us out and build your own pizza at Blaze Pizza.
Varsity Media is now opening up our schedule to any team looking to be on a sportscast. Watching yourself on camera is okay, but hearing your name on a Varsity Media sportscast is like you're a pro.
And look at this opportunity. Feldman behind. Jersey pulled. Feldman! Feldman!
The loose ball, Keyshawn White has it. He's just going to let it fly.
Oh! Keyshawn White from half court. That is cash! What a way to end the third quarter!
As West barks out the signals. West is going to keep it himself inside the 5 to the goal line. Touchdown! Touchdown, Southside.
Varsity Media offers sports coverage for any sport, and our coverage airs live and on demand so everyone can watch the game. Now is the time to be a star on Varsity Media. Contact us to book a sportscast today at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
Hey parents, Varsity Media is now offering ISO video of just your athlete. Why settle for the wide angle that shows every player on the field? With our ISO video, your athlete is front and center the entire game. This footage will help in creating highlight videos for college coaches to better pinpoint your athlete's play on the field. Watching our video will help your athlete improve progressively throughout the season and may lead to a college scholarship. Varsity Media is now booking ISO videos for the spring, but spots are limited. Contact us today for lacrosse, baseball, softball, and tennis by calling 516-403-2050 or emailing ben@varsitymedia.net.
For the latest news in high school sports, be sure to check out varsitymedia.net or follow us on social media @VarsityMedia.
Varsity Media's hype videos stand out with dynamic visuals and storytelling. Our primary goal is to create a memorable impression, excitement, and interest that encourages viewers to engage and participate. Our hype video can be shown on stadium video boards, social media, and school websites. Our hype videos are the perfect feature to get your community amped up for the team and the big game.
He's got room to go. Merrill towards the end zone. Lost his lid. Touchdown!
JJ Damo, face on, stay on athlete. Controlling the face-off. That's 3 in a row now.
Back here at Christ the King High School here in Middle Village, Queens. Dylan Butler, Oliver Antigua, the entire Varsity Media crew here for the Brooklyn Queens Championship game. A trophy at stake, but also the #1 seed in your conference, if you will, as you look at the intersectional playoffs. So a lot on the line here tonight, Oliver. So the code of conduct being announced. Both teams meet at midcourt. Had a terrific prayer before the start of this one from the Most Reverend Robert J. Brennan, the Bishop of Brooklyn. We'll have the pleasure of speaking with him after the game, or excuse me, at halftime of the game as well. And first, before the start of this one, both teams will go to midcourt and take a picture with the Most Reverend Robert J. Brennan. Little did you know you had something in common.
Yes, we did. He mentioned when I spoke to Bishop Brennan that he started out in St. Raymond's Elementary School in Parkchester section of the Bronx. So shout out to Father Cruz and St. Ray's representing.
And I was also really impressed that he certainly remembered last year's game, Nazareth and St. Francis Prep. So I promised we wouldn't get into a 2-3 zone conversation versus the man defense. But we definitely look forward to speaking with the Most Reverend Robert J. Brennan, the Bishop of Brooklyn. This is the start of championship weekend for us at Varsity Media. We'll have the Archdiocesan championship game tomorrow afternoon up at the Mount. And that is a rematch of last year's game between St. Raymond's and Archbishop Stepanak. St. Ray's looking to go back-to-back, much like St. Francis Prep is looking to do here tonight.
So difficult to do, not easy. Both those games are going to be unbelievable contests.
Let's take a look at the starters first for the quote-unquote visitors from Christ the King High School. You see it's Markel Alston, Cameron Ziegler. Judah Bontemps coming off maybe his best game of the year. A guy who has bought in now at the end of his sophomore season. There's Jaden Ramirez and Stra Zelik as well. Nice to have a 6'11 freshman in your starting lineup.
And he is skilled and talented, so looking forward to watching his career.
And there's Alston, the senior point guard from Queensbridge, the final part of that. And you see the head coach, there he is, Joe Arbatello, 17th season. He is Christ the King through and through. I don't know if there's a position in this school that Joe Arbatello has not had.
That's right.
So let's take a look at St. Francis Prep, Oliver, and their starting five. And lo and behold, they too have a freshman in their starting five.
And he's terrific. Super talented, had a great game, and can really go for Coach Lynch and these guys.
So this is their starting five here. Anthony Jaden Huggins, Justin DeSena we mentioned before, Osman Asako, and Ethan Butler. The regular starting five for the Terriers, a team that, due to injury to Connor Griffin, will not be very deep. Maybe we'll see two guys off the bench for Jimmy Lynch. We take a look at him in that traditional St. Francis Prep sweater, right? Looking a lot like his mentor, Tim Leary, his 8th season, and he, like Joe Arbatello, is an alum of his school. Jimmy Lynch, 1999 graduate of St. Francis Prep. Terrific crowd that is continuing to file in here at Christ the King. You talk about the Friday night triple headers. We in fact had that. Not your traditional one, though. We had the early round bracket games of the intersectional playoffs that started, including a dramatic buzzer beater as Monsignor Scanlon in overtime beating Bishop Lachlan. And then Archbishop Malloy as well, booking their ticket to the next round, beating Mount St. Michael. Our officials for today's game, a terrific three-man crew. Arnold Saunders, Max Olivier, as well as Mark Casamassa.
Great matchup, great guard play, excellent coaching. This should be a fun one tonight.
It absolutely should be. Last time these two teams met in this game, in this gym, it was Christ the King, a 1-point win in that one. Dwayne Pierce with a big block at the end, and it was the Royals celebrating a 12th Brooklyn Queens championship. Opening tip is battled, and Sacco wins it, and there is Veer Anthony. These two right here, Veer Anthony, Markel Alston, two of the top point guards in his league, two uncommitted senior point guards as well, as Zelik gets his hands, and this is what the Royals want to do. They want to get out in transition. Cam Ziegler, pull-up jumper, no good. Battle for the loose ball in the corner, and it goes to the Terriers.
Excellent guard play display tonight on both sides.
Sacco, the triple. We know that is in his bag of tricks.
Great start. If he can start establishing himself and knocking down that shot, we know he can score inside, outside, tough guard. CK must not let him get going.
This is Judah Bontemps, the sophomore. Step back three off the side rim. And it goes out for St. Francis Prep ball.
And Sacco looks locked in. Great start. First shot goes down. Huge confidence boost for yourself. Keep an eye on that and see what kind of game he gets going today.
And size-wise and athleticism-wise, you see the matchup inside for Christ the King as well. And that's what we spoke with Joe Arbitello about. He said, you said, who's guarding Veer Anthony and who's guarding Osmana Sacco?
Yeah, and Stra 24 is going to get that duty. And you see right away Coach Lynch run a set to get Sacco baseline action, but good job by Christ the King defending it. So going the other way with it.
Both teams, Oliver, love to play hard-nosed, in-your-face, man-to-man defense.
And all these guys can really guard. They're really athletic. So you're going to see these guys really challenging each other here.
Zelik inside. Missed it. And here comes Sacco. Little point forward action. Look at Big O. Sacco to the rim. No good.
And that's a great challenge by Stra there.
Alston, a denial on the other end. Ethan Butler getting up.
Nothing is easy right now. You can see the intensity in this game. It is at a high level.
Short from the other corner. DeSena. What do we got? A jump ball. Possession, Christ the King.
So you got a challenge at the one end, Christ the King, and it came right back. St. Francis Prep didn't give up a layup. Great defense, really intense right now. You'd love to see that in the beginning of this game.
On your way here, no doubt you use your easy pass. There is no easy pass to the lane tonight in either side. Here's Veer Anthony off the steal. Good hands by Zelik to stop that transition opportunity.
Yeah, and early on you can see a little bit of anxiety, maybe some miscues, but that's normal. And I think as the game goes on, you're going to see the tempo settle down and guys get more comfortable. So everybody's trying to fill each other out right now, see what they can get away with.
Here's Butler, guarded by Ramirez. That's an interesting matchup. And Sacco straight to the hole. All 5 points early on by Big O.
Excellent 4-on-5 ball screen, big on big. Sacco will be able to put it on the floor, gets to the basket with a pretty finish.
And Alston, conversely, he is guarded by Veer Anthony as well.
This is going to be a great matchup here tonight. Two of the best in the league.
Alston, the pull-up jumper.
And he hit that shot against Nazareth, which really makes him a tough guard. If he starts shooting, look out. He is really, really going to have a hell of a night for Christ the King.
44% from the field. The steal, and then DeSena called for the foul. But you can see right away, and it's exactly what Jimmy Lynch told us he expected. As soon as Christ the King gets a chance, they are out and they are running.
You know, when you got four guards and they all can play, it makes it really puts a lot of pressure on the team defensively to get back. So their open style offense, dribble drive, makes it really hard to guard. So, and the free flowing that coach gives his reign his guys.
Ramirez, that three rims around. Great putback by Cam Ziegler.
And so these guys, they're really four guards in the big, so they all hustle and rebound, and that's an example of Ziegler getting to the offensive glass as a guard.
Huggins denied by Alston. Here comes Ramirez. Doesn't have the numbers, then lost the ball to Veer Anthony. St. Francis Prep has numbers. Ethan Butler steps out for 3, and he buries it.
Coach Arbitello talked about he's an X factor for them. Butler's had some really big games against Christ the King, and there you go see why the junior with the pretty stroke from deep.
Yeah, in fact, it was that second matchup, 15-7 for Ethan Butler in that win in Fresh Meadows. Ziegler backs it up to Bontemps. Arbitello says it's been a love-hate relationship with Bontemps, but right now it is all love. Bontemps to the hole, knocked away by Huggins. Here's Veer Anthony ahead of the field. Anthony, the layup.
Great job defensively, getting a block shot, leads to transition offense, and Veer knows what to do as the senior 1,000-point scorer on the team.
Alston, front rim. 10-4 the lead for the Terriers. There is Sacco. Huggins. Back to O. Huggins, the senior transfer, loses it on the floor. We're going to see a lot of these, a lot of 50-50 challenges on the court. You love the job by Ziegler, the hustle, but his back was on that sideline, so it's St. Francis Prep ball.
And there's Judah and Jaden getting on a loose ball, and Alston Wright following, and they understand every possession is important, and they are really tenacious on the defensive end.
15 on the shot clock. So possession never changed. There's Huggins. Joe Arbitello says St. Francis Prep, it's a nightmare as a head coach to prep for, as Sacco counted and the foul. He said they've got great players at every position. That includes the big fella inside.
And early on, Coach Lynch has been isolating Sacco on the perimeter, taking him off the bounce, using his speed and quickness. Advantage Sacco there, using his size, draws the foul and contact. Three-point play the old-fashioned way.
Sacco recently, after that Stepinac game, picked up an offer from Boston College. He completes the three-point play, and it is a 13-4 lead for the Terriers. Bontemps tries to go baseline, pulls up, pretty jumper.
And Juice with the dribble pull-up jump shot, showing you why he's one of the top young sophomores in the Catholic League.
And now he's out in transition.
Oh, he's so fast.
Sophomore from Uniondale. The reversal, Ramirez, the triple. Look at Bontemps. Looking like he's 6'8". Ramirez. A lot of contact in the lane. St. Francis Prep ball.
And Christ the King is a scrappy bunch there. You see another probably key that the guys are really crashing the backboards and sending 3 or 4 guys at a time. So something to keep an eye on.
And as such, Joe Arbitello brings in his enforcer, Orion Cobb, a terrific shot blocker. So this would be fun to see Cobb and Big O inside.
Yeah, he gave him some good minutes against Holy Cross. So, Nazareth. Played really good against Nazareth, so looking forward to him. And this is probably a good game for him physically to keep Sacco from getting to the basket.
Also checking in is Vuk Zelik, the sophomore. Huggins wide open for 3 off the mark. Same team, Bontemps with the rebounds. Ramirez, nice fake to get Butler up in the air. Pulls up, that jumper off the mark. Christ the King getting good looks, Oliver, but they are struggling to knock him down.
Yeah, and Jaden took a spill at the Nazareth game. You notice that he's playing with a face shield and can't be very comfortable to do that. And I noticed a couple of those good looks that he normally makes is a little bit off. So some adjustment probably on his part to play with that thing on his face. I hated it.
Bontemps against the freshman DeSena. Look at the defense. It will result in a foul. This against Sacco, but they were all in the face of Christ the King players. Bontemps. The one thing about Christ the King, if you want to give an edge, if you looked at like a head-to-head matchup of positions and players, an edge certainly goes in terms of depth for Christ the King. They can run out of a lot more guys right now than a banged-up St. Francis Prep team can. Markel Alston, another pretty jumper.
And the guard gets to that elbow spot, pulls up, knows that the defense is kind of stepping in, so he doesn't over-penetrate, and takes a beautiful mid-range jump shot. You don't see that often nowadays. Everybody shoots threes, but great pull-up game from Alston.
Max Olivier with the foul called. And this against Christ the King. Foul on Ramirez. Color me shocked right now, but Jimmy Lynch has not called his traditional early timeout. He likes what he sees.
Because they're playing well.
Vier Anthony, the three, no good. Zelik, the rebound.
And your coach Lynch, you got to be happy with the early start. They're coming in, they're locked in, they're making shots, they're playing well.
I think he's second in the league. I don't know if this is a stat that is charted, but perhaps second in the league, as here's Hao Chen ahead of the field. Nice up fake by Chen, and he gets the basket. But Jimmy Lynch, maybe second in the league to Joe Lodes in earliest timeouts called by a head coach.
Absolutely. And right now, we talked about transition for Christ the King. It's St. Francis Prep beating him at their own game, getting some easy transition baskets.
And Hao Chen, you mentioned Ethan Butler being a nightmare. Hao Chen had a terrific game that second matchup in Fresh Meadows. Foul called on DeSena. That is already his second. So again, thin on the bench for the Terriers. And here comes Jack Leary into the game. Grandson of the former head coach, the legendary Tim Leary.
Hey, look, if you put a guy in the bench early in this big game and you see Chen producing, that gives you a lot of confidence as a coach that you can go back to him and kind of make sure he gets in the rotation all throughout the game. So good sign for Chen coming in.
And in that second matchup we were referencing a moment ago, a season-high 14 for Hao Chen. Bontemps, they'll hold for the last with a shot clock off.
And coach calls a zone here to kind of change, throw a little wrench at him.
Bontemps steps back. Three, no good. Hao Chen, the rebound. Slings it down court. No good. But it is the Terriers going out with a 15-8 lead. And a lot, Oliver, of big O's.
And we featured him in the highlight for a reason, because he has big ticket box office showing the three-point range, and then he's putting it on the floor for a big man. You got guards, I could put it on the floor and finish. Sacco with the beautiful attack to the rim.
8 for Sacco in the first quarter. It's 15-8 for the Terriers here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
This is Jalen Brunson, you're watching Varsity Media.
Every day opens a new door to grow, to build relationships. Every moment, a chance to do more. To buy a home, grow a business, start a family. Bank with experts. Bank Maspeth.
For all the latest Varsity Media updates, including our game schedules, be sure to follow us on social media at Varsity Media, the home for New York high school sports.
Nice look inside the St. Francis Prep huddle. And as you mentioned, Jimmy Lynch, when he saw the bracket come out, he said, oh, great. He goes, Holy Cross, our rival, who's now complete as a team. They were banged up earlier. Now they're whole. Don't want to face those guys. And oh, by the way, if we survive that, here's Christ the King playing its best basketball of the year.
No question. And, you know, it's a tough task. It's a lot of great teams you got to get through. And, you know, in the playoffs, all the games are close. So high-level execution, attention to detail, gets you really ready for that elimination round. So all good experiences for his club.
And that's the other thing he said, too. He's like, whoever we played, and, of course, it ends up being a rivalry game, round number 3, would have a playoff win under their belt. And Holy Cross showed that as they battled back from that early 13-2 deficit. Here's Butler putting it on the floor. kicks it to Huggins. His triple is short. Here's Alston. And then the Terriers coached up well, right? You saw how quickly they got back on defense. Corner 3 off the mark by Zelik.
And they're okay with playing fast driving kicks, so that's how they're going to play. So Coach Arbitello doesn't mind those shots.
And that's one of the situations that Jimmy Lynch mentioned in his keys to the game, right? How do we adjust the situations? And there we saw it. What are they going to throw at us? And it was a double in the post on Sacco. Mark Casamassa just wants a little calm in the building. And we saw in that situation, Oliver, right? Sacco passing out of that double.
Yeah, he's a good player, and you know, Coach put in Cobb here. He was a junior, maybe a little more physical, try to keep Sacco from getting some easy looks.
Butler, the step back.
And that is not an easy shot. Very skilled. Loved the fact that he kind of got to his spot, used the space to get away. Hit a nice little fadeaway from the junior.
Yeah. Jimmy Lynch says, don't graduate him yet, please, Oliver. We have another year. And again, great defense, and it ends up being a turnover. How about Zelik? Not only does he get the hands on that ball, but then he knocks it off a Terrier.
And you love to see that. Don't give up on the play. Turn the ball over. They sprint back. Got to stop.
Well, you said you hated, and so too did Jaden Ramirez.
Yeah,
he is no longer the masked man.
Yeah, it's tough to play with. You know, you got to get used to that stuff. And this is a big game, so he says, screw that. If I get hit, I get hit.
Zelik in the lane. No good. Cobb crashing the glass.
And you got to love the big fella there, keeping with the play. Don't take anything for granted. Great timing on the offensive rebound, tip back.
And Cobb's a guy, too, just about 2.5 points a game. He's in for his defense and keeping a guy like Sacco honest. So he just did both there, right? He gets the points, and then he gets a turnover on Big O.
And you love that because, hey, if you're not making shots, that means there's a lot of misses, and you get offensive rebound putbacks. It keeps you in the game and kind of can change the tide there for you for Christ the King.
Here's Bontemps. When you have a second guy to run the point a little bit, that's an edge. And what do we have here? Arnold Saunders has a foul underneath.
Yeah, moving screen. Got to be set. Got to let the defender get through it. Can't be moving. Advantage to the offense, so we're going the other way with it.
17-10 the lead for St. Francis Prep. Early portions of the second quarter. There are guys on this St. Francis Prep team, including the one bringing the ball up and the one setting the screen, and Hao Chen, who were on this court 2 years ago, losing to Christ the King.
And you talk about Veer. He is so steady. Double ball screen action, making it tough for Christ the King to switch and attacks the basket. The beautiful finish at the rim.
Joe Arbitello screams and claps his hands for Stack. Here's Ziegler, guarded by Chen. The triple, no good. Butler the rebound.
St. Francis Prep is doing a good job of contesting the shots.
Big O. How about the second one? That's all about positioning on Cobb as Joe Arbitello calls a full timeout.
And he doesn't like what he sees because obviously Sacco is one of the best players on the floor. And here's Veer Anthony getting to the basket. And you see Sacco position, get the inside position, misses the first one, stays with it, goes back up again with the quick second jump and gets the putback, and coach wants to talk.
So I would normally have my money on Jimmy Lynch calling the first time out of this game, but I would have lost on that one as we take a look at some of the former champions in this game. And there's been some good ones in the Brooklyn Queens. Let's take a look at the last 10 meetings. And last year it was up in Fresh Meadows. St. Francis Prep beating Nazareth, and that aforementioned 2023 game, that 1-point win for the Royals. Christ the King historically has dominated BQ, as I mentioned, 12 championships. But look at St. Francis Prep in recent years, right? They've gotten themselves to Championship Friday and have lifted that trophy on a number of occasions.
And that's a credit to Coach Lynch and his staff and putting great teams together, because this league is a bear. So to get to that, have that success, just shows you the kind of job they're doing over at St. Francis Prep.
So let's see what the Royals have coming out of the timeout.
You know, when you're not making shots, you got to look for some leadership here and figure out who can we get a nice basket, something going to the basket, downhill, maybe something close to the rim.
And now you have Hao Chen guarding Jaden Ramirez. Ramirez, good first step to get to the basket and gets the layup.
And right on cue, a senior there knows that maybe the outshot shot's not dropping, attacks the basket, goes left, gets athletic to the rim and finishes.
Why is Christ the King better at this time of the year? It's a three-pronged factor. Factor A is the schedule that they played. As Alston to the lane, count it, and the foul.
And here you see why they're so dangerous in transition. The coach wants to sprint back because Alston attacking from one end to the next, getting the three-point play the old-fashioned way.
So it's the schedule, right, that prepares you for the big moments as Alston completes the three-point play. It's the younger guys growing up and maturing, but it's also seniors like Alston, like Ramirez, realizing the end of the line is here. And when you are an unsigned senior, you play like a hungry dog.
No question, and the more you win, the better chance you're going to have for college coaches to see you play at Fordham University. So,
Ethan Butler, 2 more for him.
Boy, he likes that free throw jump shot, doesn't he? Good-looking prospect.
7 for Butler. Bontemps pops it back out to Ziegler. A terrific three-point shooter is Cam Ziegler. They kick it inside on the court. Taken away, and now the Terriers in transition. Ethan Butler, great defense by Alston. Here's DeSena, sharp shooter, rims around, no good. Butler the rebound, then he got hit.
And what a great effort there by St. Francis Prep. Cena had a good look, missed the shot, didn't go down, but Ethan, Johnny on the spot, great timing on it, draws the foul, and goes to the free throw line to add to this lead.
That's Ethan on the spot. And Butler, we're seeing it in this first quarter, or this first half, excuse me, but just really, really versatile.
No question, and great size and skill. He's showing you kind of all the things he brings to the team, and if you add offensive rebound, put back to his game, you know he can make outside shots. He is a tough guard.
And he's showing you, too, that he can knock down his free throws. 9 for Butler. And it's a 10-point lead for the Terriers.
And switching up defense, showing a little zone.
Looks like a little 2-1-2. Not your Manhattan area code, but a good look at the zone as Sacco comes away with it.
And coach is going deep in his bench. That's the freshman Aaron Ellis with the 3 there. Was no good against the zone. Trying to find something to get going here. Looking for answers from his bench.
Veer Anthony, the kick out. Hao Chen, ooh, excuse me, gets free, but the 3 doesn't fall. And then an errant pass the other way.
Yeah, and great job by Zilla getting the rebound. You don't want to rush because right now you're down in this game. Unforced turnover there. St. Francis Prep is such a well-coached team. You give these guys extra possessions, man, that's deadly for you.
How many times has Veer Anthony and Markel Alston done just this? Go mano a mano. Ooh, the finger roll.
And that's my point. Unforced turnover. Veer Anthony takes advantage of that, gets to the basket with the pretty finish.
How about this? Can we just get them in the same conference and just live this up for 4 more years as Bontemps gets 2 inside?
Hey, Veer, I know you're a senior, but I got some game 2 juice with the beautiful attack to the basket.
Veer misses at the cup, but here comes Bontemps. Bontemps. That was in the HOV lane of the LIE.
And that's where they are tough to guard in transition. What a great push by the young fella. Explosion in the speed and the finish.
Early in the season, Joe Arbitello told us, I don't know what we're getting from Judah Bontemps.
Well, he's been playing
terrific.
host.
Yeah, sorry. It could be a host of turnovers. It could be an explosion to the basket. He's limited those turnovers as Sacco, no good. Chen, no good. Ball knocked around, and it's now Christ the King ball. But Bontemps much more consistent in his game right now, but he blows a tire. Ziegler, oh, the triple.
And now the shots that weren't falling, all of a sudden now, Christ the King is starting to make some of those shots, and they're getting back in this game. And now it's just a two-possession game.
And what was that subtle little play, right? Bontemps falls, he keeps that possession alive.
That's crucial. Didn't turn it over, found his sharpshooter, and now we have a turnover going back. Defensive intensity, Christ the King now starting to lock down.
That 10-point lead has now whittled down to 5. 61 seconds left in this first half. A terrific crowd on a Friday night at Christ the King. It's one of the things that makes this league so special.
Now against the zone, it's easy to take quick shots. You want to work it, move it, try to attack baseline, try to get some drive in the gaps. Skip passes are great against the zone. And that's terrific right there.
So is a look down low as Zelik with the finish.
And that play started from the freshman Ellis getting into the seam, drawing that back man and dumping it down to the baseline, to the Serbian.
7-0 run for the Royals.
That was freshman to freshman. Future's bright at Christ the King.
And no one feels bad for Joe Arbitello. There's no doubt about that. Final 10 seconds, Veer Anthony. Kicks it, corner, 3, to Senna, off the mark. And it is St. Francis Prep with the 3-point lead here at the half. A great end of this quarter and half for the Royals. You knew they would have a run in them. There's no doubt about that. It's a three-point game here at the half. Joined now by St. Francis Prep head coach Jimmy Lynch. And Jimmy, your thoughts overall on that first half?
Came out of the gate really good. We were defending. I thought the first quarter we defended fantastic. And then our shot selection, I thought, in the second half led to some of their offensive points there that they put on the board. Try to just counter them with a zone a little bit, slow them down. They got behind us one time. They got to the middle. That got them a really good shot. And we didn't rebound a few times. So we just got to collect ourselves a little bit.
Hey, Coach, like you said, you mentioned a great start. Sacco looks like he's locked in. Kind of hurt him early, and Coach took out Zilic and went with another defender to maybe try to force him. But how about Butler making tough foul line jump shots, Veer getting to the basket? Seems like your 3 top guys are really kind of grooving right now, and that's why you have a lead.
They're showing up. Ethan's terrific from like that mid-range, that little pinch post area. He's got a little one-dribble left-handed pull-up that he's terrific with. I thought we missed him. He was wide open on the low post. We should have given it to him, and it just fed him. He scored like 2 or 3 in a row at one point. Just keep feeding him. The kid's playing a great game. But our 3 guys are here.
Last one for us. 3-point game. Halftime, Brooklyn Queens Championship. What do you want to see from your guys in the second half?
It doesn't matter what kind of game it is. I know it's hard to separate that with the moment, but just play our game and don't get away from what we're doing. And if you haven't gotten a shot in a while, who cares? It's about best available shot, and then just keep guarding, just keep defending at this at the other end, and hopefully we'll be all right.
All right, good luck, Coach.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Great stuff. Appreciate it. Halftime here at Christ the King High School. And it is St. Francis Prep with a 27-24 lead. And listen, we go from one head coach who's a leader of men, right?
That's right.
To another leader here. It is the Most Reverend Robert J. Brennan, the Bishop of Brooklyn. Listen, you had so much fun a year ago with us. Clearly you wanted to have more of this, so you're back on with us on Varsity Media.
Absolutely. I'm glad to be with you today. It's an exciting game. It's a pretty close game, a competitive game.
Yeah, and a different venue than last year. Last year was at St. Francis Prep for the Brooklyn Queens, but the same kind of atmosphere, isn't it? It is electric in this gym.
It is. It's a full gym. Lots of people who are proud of these guys, you know, their parents, lots of families, fellow students, alum. Boy, this is really a good feeling in here.
So, Bishop, a little basketball here now. Tough, close game. Who do you like in the second half? Can you give me a little prediction?
You can't pick the winner.
That's the problem. I got to be neutral here. These are all my teams. When we start playing outside, then I can be a little more particular. I'll say this. It looked like St. Francis Prep is really dominating, but, boy, Christ the King closed the gap. So it looks like a competitive second half. That's what I would say.
So we'll pray for a close game and a last-second shot. How about that?
There you go. A last-second shot, not overtime.
That's all right.
You said it now, but, I mean, you might have some pull. If we say overtime, sometimes that happens. But so these are two great athletic programs, but also they're all part of a terrific education that people can get in the Catholic League here.
We're so proud of all of our schools, of all of our students, and our Catholic education gives an opportunity to educate and form the whole person. It's not just academic, but it's human formation. It's that spiritual formation, growing in a friendship with Jesus Christ. It's in a place like this, you get a sense of sportsmanship. These are good values for all walks of life.
Great stuff. We appreciate, again, your time.
Thank you much.
Reverend Robert J. Brennan, the Bishop of Brooklyn.
Enjoy the rest of the game.
Yeah, same. When we come back, we'll have some stats and more right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
High school sports fans, Varsity Media is the exclusive live stream partner of Nassau County Championships. To live stream fall, winter, and spring championship events, head to varsitymediapass.com to order. Now accessible on smart TVs. Varsity Media is your home for the Nassau County Championships.
It's time to book a Varsity Media Sportscast and get on the big stage. A Varsity Media Sportscast is seen by thousands of people, both live and on demand, from friends and family all over the world to prospective college coaches. Our announcers will help tell the story of your team and your athletes. There is no bigger stage to be on than Varsity Media. Book a sportscast today by contacting Varsity Media.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Did you know Varsity Media now offers action photography for all sporting events? Available for individuals or teams, we'll send dedicated photographers down to field level to capture your best moments. Our rates are affordable and our photos will leave you with lasting memories for a lifetime. Contact us today, mention this ad, and get $25 off your first order. Email ben@varsitymedia.net or call 516-403-2050.
Every day opens a new door to learn, to grow, to connect with special people. People who in big ways and small improve your life. Every moment, another chance to achieve a goal, to buy a home, grow a business, start a family, and build lifelong relationships. Bank with trust. Bank with experts. Bank Maspeth.
Varsity Media is now opening up our schedule to any team looking to be on a sportscast. Watching yourself on camera is okay, but hearing your name on a Varsity Media sportscast is like you're a pro.
And look at this opportunity. Feldman behind. Jersey pulled. Feldman! Feldman!
The loose ball, Keyshawn White has it. He's just going to let it fly.
Oh! Keyshawn White from half court. That is cash. What a way to end the third quarter.
As West barks out the signals. West is going to keep it himself inside the 5 to the goal line. Touchdown! Touchdown, Southside.
Varsity Media offers sports coverage for any sport, and our coverage airs live and on demand so everyone can watch the game. Now is the time to be a star on Varsity Media. Contact us to book a sportscast today at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
Varsity Media's hype videos stand out with dynamic visuals and storytelling. Our primary goal is to create a memorable impression, excitement, and interest that encourages viewers to engage and participate. Our hype video can be shown on stadium video boards, social media, and school websites. Our hype videos are the perfect feature to get your community amped up for the team and the big game.
Back at Christ the King High School, Dylan Butler, Oliver Antigua, our entire Varsity Media crew. A good crowd here on a Friday night at Christ the King High School. And they have been treated to a really fun first half. It was St. Francis Prep that had a 10-point lead, and they led throughout the first half. But Christ the King at the very end, I think halftime came too early for the Royals because they were on a run. It was a 7-0 run, which results in a 3-point ball game.
No question, and really started with their defense, getting out in transition. Here you see a beautiful attack of the zone, getting to that baseline finish. Early on, shots not dropping, but still competed, hanging around. Now it's only a 1-point game. I thought St. Francis Prep was really good early.
Leading the way for the Terriers, Osmana Saka with 10, Ethan Butler with 9, Veer Anthony for 6. That's your big three for St. Francis Prep. For Christ the King, Markel Alston has come to play. He's got 7. Judah Bontemps with 6. And then 5 for Cam Ziegler. Jaden Ramirez held to just 2 points in that first half.
And he's, for me, a key for the second half of CK. He's too good of a player. He needs to get going. Obviously, the face mask bothered him. He's not playing in the second half. We'll see what he does if he can get going.
Terriers ball coming out. Here's Veer Anthony. What a reversal.
And he was nimble, got to that baseline, reversed. Beautiful spin on the backboard for the deuce.
That was kind of 2 reverses, right? First on the dribble, and then on the layup.
He is such a good player.
Ziegler missed his 3. Ziegler, a 35% three-point shooter. And that's a guy, too, DeSena. And you can see right away, did you see what Veer Anthony did there? The senior leadership, just shoot the ball.
That's right.
Like, he overthought that. He's such a great shooter. He said, just shoot it.
And that's a great point. You can't go unnoticed how Coach Lynch loves the team leadership, the unselfishness, the character of Veer Anthony.
Here's Ramirez, the kick. And Ziegler, he's not going to miss many more threes. The triple for Cam I.M.
And he is a knockdown specialist there. You saw he squared up, got his feet set, and knocked down a huge 3 for Christ the King. Something to keep an eye on.
Saka, great positioning, but Zelik with the denial from behind. Here comes Bontemps now in transition. Ziegler Thought about it. Good D by Anthony. Alston. Look out. Big O to the floor. Alston with a flex.
And if you're not making shots, attack the rim. And that's a great drive by Alston there. Under control, using his speed, athleticism for the beautiful finish.
And guess what? We are all tied at 29.
Look at that defense.
Bontemps. Give it to him.
That's a great hustle play. Great hustle play. Gets on the floor, gets a deflection, doesn't give up on it, and retains possession for Christ the King.
And a full timeout called by Jimmy Lynch. Again, thanks so much to our sponsors, Maspeth Federal Savings. Listen, I'll give you the GPS. I'm not even looking. You go right up 69th Street, right? Well, you have to go to Metropolitan first. Make that quick right and a quick left on 69th Street. Go right across the LIE, and there it is. You cannot miss Maspeth Federal Savings, and we thank them so much for their sponsorship. Just across the street, by the way, Rose's Pizza.
Nice.
So look inside the Terriers huddle at St. Francis Prep and Christ the King, all part of some big games in the Catholic League on the Varsity Media Sports Network. Next up, we're going to Murdoch Avenue in the Bronx, the Archdiocesan final. That is tomorrow afternoon at 1, St. Ray's and Archbishop Stepanak. The B and the A finals, we know time and location now. That is next Saturday at Fordham, and we will camp out on that beautiful, picturesque campus at Rose Hill for the quarterfinals, semifinals, and the final of the AA.
Maybe they'll give me a tuition break. We spent so much time there for my daughter, who's a freshman at Fordham. Shout out to Senia Antigua.
I think we can get you a parking discount. That might be it right about now.
I'll take it.
Here's Bontemps. Oh, can't get the finish, but that was electric. Look out. Incomplete pass, and then a foul. Mark Casamassa has the call.
This type of game favors Christ the King. A little helter-skelter, a little bit of transition, kind of gets St. Francis Prep out of the rhythm. You know, tempo. Coach talked about playing with tempo and running sets, and Christ the King wants to get up and down, get those guards going, get that speed out there and attack the rim.
Here comes Alston. Christ the King has not led in this game.
Great team defense there.
Butler ahead to Sacco. Big O. Oh, that's a little bit too much. A little out of control for the junior. Here comes Bontemps. We are speeding up right now. Back rim, no good. The soft gets his own rebound.
He got up there for that one, showing his athletic ability.
Alston in and out. Another big rebound. Loose balls, those 50-50s that we talk about. It goes to Bontemps. Bontemps high off the glass, no good. And then a foul on Ramirez when Vera Anthony finally secured the basketball.
And that play there, that was a degree of difficulty, was high for the sophomore. Love for him to jump stop, maybe draw defense and try to get a foul instead of making a tough acrobatic shot. But he'll learn that as he gets more reps.
And this, what you said, this is more what St. Francis Prep wants to do. They want to slow it down. They want to run their sets.
Absolutely, and make Christ the King guard the shot clock and wait for an open opportunity to get a good shot.
Stepanak head coach Pat Massaroni described the St. Francis Prep offense as a Princeton offense with a little bit of New York swagger to it.
No question. Well coached, really disciplined, knows what they want at every set, and it's great when you have a senior point guard to kind of run your ship.
Alston. He's from Queensbridge. Zelik.
Great call by Coach Arbatello. They went screen to screener action. All the attention went to the guard, and Zelik with the slip and a pretty touch for the 6'11 freshman from Serbia.
And as such, as being from Serbia, as Ramirez is called for his third foul, he's got that Euro basketball obviously in him as well.
Yeah, and I watched a lot of Illinois basketball. They got a couple Euros over there, so I know Izovic from Croatia. It's a neighborhood over there, brotherly Serbian compadres. But Euro basketball, very skilled, athletic. Do a lot of things that translate on the basketball court.
I'm not touching the political climate of the Eastern European. Here comes Huggins in the lane. A contested jumper. Woo! The spin and the win.
And that is not easy. Turnaround jump shot. Right on cue for the senior.
Ziegler, a little shake and bake. Ziegler almost lost his pivot foot. Ramirez has been the picture of frustration throughout this one. And now he's holding his arm as well. 10 on the shot clock. Bontemps kicks it. Ramirez, the triple, no good. Bontemps, another rebound. Look at Bontemps.
And how about the little fella attacking the big man, Sacco, and says, I got you, my man.
Bontemps with 8.
Boy, he's fearless. And he's playing at a high level right now.
Foul on Alston, and finally Arbitello able to get Ramirez out. 3 fouls. Wasn't able to get the sub to the table in time, so that was a little bit risky there for the Royals.
Yeah, and you can see he was trying to get to him to get him out before that, but unfortunate. But Christ the King is deep. They'll have somebody else step up.
No good from Anthony. Here comes Ziegler. Woo, the runner in the lane and the friendly roll.
And how about Cam Ziegler pushing, attacking, surveying, and hits the runner, the 1-foot jumper runner in the lane.
10 now for Ziegler. Sacco, he's a guy who had a terrific first quarter. 8 of his 10 in that quarter, but he's been quiet to this point. Zelik picks up his second foul. So Osmana Sacco, no good on the first.
Yeah, Christ the King wants to get this an up and down game. And here is St. Francis Prep attacking, Sacco drawing the foul. Smart play, shot fake, gets the defender up, draws it, makes the referee have to make the call.
And Zelik will go to the bench as well. His second foul, Orion Cobb into the game.
And drawing fouls is a skill, especially for bigs. You know, under control, you don't want to rush. So good job by Sacco using his body and throwing off the defender.
Timeout for St. Francis Prep. An opportunity, Oliver, to check out some of the all-league selections. And this is your third team all-league.
So Malik Fields from Cardinal Hayes, Dior Anderson from Scanlon, Adonis Ratliff from Stepanak, Saladou Dake from St. Peter's, Dylan Stanley from Holy Cross, and Justin Delgado from Nazareth. 13.
Now the second team. A lot of familiar names in this game as well. Ramirez, Alston, Butler as well. David Geeman, what a game he had for Cardinal Hayes up at the Ravens Nest, and Ty Turnett, second team as well. That head of the snake, if you will, for St. Ray's. And finally, let's take a look at the first team all-league. Brandon Storrs, 3-time first team all-league selection. 2 Terriers there in Veer Anthony and Osmana Sacco. A couple of Crusaders as well in Josiah Jervis, Danny Carbucia, and Johnny Keenan as well. A lot of experienced guards there on that first team.
And no question, tomorrow afternoon at Mount, it's going to be a good one. Stepanak St. Ray's on Varsity Media.
Here's Ziegler, guarded by Butler.
Floor space is important for Christ the King to get guards to drive it downhill and try to get driving kicks, as you can see. Looking for a mismatch.
Here's Bontemps. Good D by DeSena.
Great timing. Got a strip as he was trying to go up in his shooting motion and got a piece of that ball and got a turnover.
So now St. Francis Prep trying to regain the lead. They're now down by 3. You want to talk about threes? That's the guy to get the triple.
And how about that? 6'2" freshman playing way behind his years. A terrific prospect, having a great season. Knocks down a huge 3.
His three-point prowess as now the Terriers out in transition. Anthony fouled on his way there, but the Senna's three-point prowess was known throughout the league. What we're finding out more now towards the second half of the season is the way that he can play defense.
No question. Here is a heads-up play by St. Francis Prep. Anthony using that speed and athleticism, drawing the foul, getting to the foul line. Shoot 2.
Anthony to the line, tie ball game. This aspect of his game much improved.
And he checks all the boxes. If I'm a college coach and I want a point guard that can score it, run my team, is a leader, great academics, coach loves him, team guy, checks all the boxes, Dylan.
And listen, a guy who knows something about recruiting at St. Francis Prep likes him as well, right? Coach Dunn, a product of this Catholic High School League as well, as Alston the step back triple.
Woo! Starting to heat up.
12 for Alston. Mentioned before from Queensbridge. Ron Artest, Reggie Jesse as well. DeSena, front rim no good. Quick transition. Here's Ziegler, 1-on-2, gets the bucket.
And that was a terrific outlet by Alston with the heads-up play, and Ziegler spritz out in transition. And that's where Christ the King is at his best.
12 for Ziegler. 4-point lead for the Royals. Sacco on Cobb. Good defense by Cobb. Here come the Royals. Bontemps fouled from behind by Anthony.
And you see Judah coming attacking the rim. Veer's kind of behind him, gets a piece of him. And they are just so hard to guard in transition. And he is so quick, Dylan. I mean, the speed in this kid for only a sophomore, like I said, he's fearless. He's been playing really well.
And listen, it's not a short ride from Uniondale to Middle Village, but Bontemps, he'll get here in 3.5 seconds. Missed the first, looking to knock down the second. Rims around, but what do we have here? A lane violation. So, baby, give me one more chance. Bontemps.
Free throws are so important, especially for guards, to be able to knock down late games. You want to be able to make them.
And he gets that third bite of the apple.
And here's a little full court pressure to try to speed up St. Francis Prep. Get him out of the rhythm. Good job by Prep handling it and setting up their half-court offense.
And you know this, being in the coaching ranks for as long as you were, when you've got this Big O harassed, taken away, Alston ahead of the field, Cobb can't get the finish. But I was about to say, when you have a senior point guard, he could really, really dictate things. It's a great tool to have as a head coach.
Absolutely. The point guard is the extension of the head coach. They have to run offense, not only know what they're doing, but they have to know every position on the floor. So great head on the shoulders, knowledgeable, communicator, leader, and you see that in Anthony there drawing the foul, getting to the line here.
So Anthony to shoot 2. First rims around, no good. We mentioned Coach Dunn up in Marist. Already has 2 really good ones from St. Francis Prep up there as well. The Red Foxes in the MAC. That could be a good landing place for a player of Anthony's abilities.
And he's done a great coaching job getting the Red Foxes to where they're at the top of the league. Very happy for Coach Dunn and the Marist Red Fox.
An Archbishop Malloy alum. Final 31 seconds of a third quarter. that the Royals, they had a big run in that second quarter, and now they've taken the lead and taken some of the air right now out of the ball. Here's Bontemps. The difference between shot and game clock is really very, very small. Bontemps splits defenders, gets to the lane, switches hands. Foul on the floor. It is on Hao Chen.
And we got a little glimpse of the future there as Juice and DeSena guarded each other there one-on-one as the shot clock went down.
I was about to say, we already had a point guard named Speedy in this building. It's the return of Speedy. Zelik, the Euro game, no good. And Ziegler denied as well. That extra aspect of defense DeSena brings in the second half of the season. Hey, it's really good to have a senior point guard. Joe Arbitello knows that well.
And when you're a first-team All-League selection like Markel Alston is, here he is getting to the basket, gets the body contact and the foul to finish. Big-time performance, and he's the reason why Christ the King is now in the lead going into the fourth quarter.
8 minutes left in regulation time. Christ the King, St. Francis Prep is a Brooklyn Queens Championship presented by Maspeth Federal Savings here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching Varsity Media, New York's high school sports network.
Every day opens a new door to grow, to build relationships. Every moment, a chance to do more. To buy a home, grow a business, start a family. Bank with experts. Bank Maspeth.
High school sports fans, Varsity Media is the exclusive live stream partner of Nassau County Championships. To live stream fall, winter, and spring championship events, head to varsitymediapass.com to order. Now accessible on smart TVs. Varsity Media is your home for the Nassau County Championships.
Look at all of those championship plaques here at Christ the King. Joe Arbitello said, regardless of who is on the court, regardless who is on the roster, the expectation is to win at Christ the King. And right now, his Royals lead going into the money quarter, the fourth quarter of this Brooklyn Queens Championship game.
And as coaches, we say defense wins championships. This is such a close game, a two-possession game. If you could get 3 stops in a row and hold your opponent, that could be the difference in this game.
Ramirez, the senior, with that loose ball. He's had a tough night. Misses inside. Big O gets the rebounds.
Nothing is easy. Everything is contested. You can see the intensity, the defense, the focus. We got a championship on the line. Who wants it more?
Butler off the mark. The tap back. Viera Anthony. 4-3 buckets.
And what a pretty stroke as he tickles the twine. Big time shot from the senior. And we know he can do that, Dylan.
Viera Anthony 13 now. The deficit for the Terriers down to 1. Ramirez got bumped. Gets to the hole and gets a bucket.
Unbelievable acrobatic finish. Definitely contact. No call, but still had the control to finish. Big time play by Jaden Ramirez.
And after 3 quarters of frustration, what will that do to the senior? Look inside, and Arnold Saunders has a foul first.
And you can see his body. He's hurting. He's battling. He's trying to do whatever he can for his team. A lot of respect for this kid. Night in, night out, guards the best player, does a lot for the coach, and not having a great offensive night, but still impacting winning as great players do.
Strazelik picked up his 3rd foul. And now we have a foul going the other way.
And that time, Sacco moved a little bit there. Took a piece of Ramirez, and we're going the other way with it.
Yeah, Sacco's 2nd. We mentioned in the open, it was St. Francis Prep with 2 pretty comfortable wins in the regular season. But Jimmy Lynch, the Terriers coach, said, really, honestly, we throw those games out. The first was the Royals opener in early December. And the second one in January, a more competitive game But Joe Arbitello said that was our first game back from the Bass Pro Shop tournament in Missouri. We always lose that game.
Yeah, that's right. Not easy to do. Great tournament out there in Missouri. But now, everything's on the line now, and it's this is the best version of yourself. So,
Bontemps. Here comes Anthony the other way. Quick look down low. Oh, the pump fake and the bucket.
And the heads-up vision from your point guard to see ahead. Beautiful pass down the middle. Not easy catch from Sacco, who grabs it and goes up and knows what to do with it, Dylan.
Sacco with 13 now. And Alston loses it, but it stays with Christ the King.
St. Francis Prep now defensively, they're locking in. They're helping on drives. They're getting hands on balls and really doing a good job keeping the guards out of the lane.
Alston. To the lane, right past two first-team All-League players.
Horns action. He has ball screens on either side, chooses to go right. The big guy is late, attacks downhill, gets to the basket, and gets the deuce.
14 for Alston, just above his season average of 13. The lob down low, Sacco the kick back out. Huggins, counted, and the foul.
And I love this. We are going back and forth, Dylan, play to play. Both teams executing at a high level. Sacco kicks it out. Huggins with the drive, draws the contact, gets it on the glass, and shows excitement.
Bontemps his second.
We got a bomb burner, Dylan.
And Huggins short on that free throw.
Sacco says, shake it off. Let's get back on D.
I didn't know that he was a big Taylor Swift fan.
Same action at Horns action for Alston. He can read it, make what he wants of it. Nothing, kicks it back out. Ziegler's turn.
Ziegler to Zelik, back out to Ziegler, guarded by DeSena. Alston, high, arcing three, rims around. Bontemps flies in for the rebound, and he was fouled.
And that's all heart. The smallest guy on the court beats everybody to the ball with intensity and gets another possession for Christ the King. Those are big plays here in crunch time.
Inbound underneath. Ziegler to Bontemps.
And really extending the pressure.
And Huggins wins that battle, but it stays with Christ the King.
And you can see how they were close to us. Their eyes are locked in. These guys are focused. They know a championship is on the line. We got 4:30 to go in a one-point game. Here's where you got to really execute, Dylan, down the stretch here. No room for error. Make sure you get good shots.
Yeah, and you put the ball in the hands of your senior leader. Here's Alston, guarded by St. Francis Prep's senior leader, and it goes out. It stays with Christ the King, but it's 7 on the shot clock.
And you got to go quick. You don't have a lot of time, so you got to set a good screen here. Make sure you get one of your guys open for a shot.
Zelik. Oh, man. Shot clock was coming down. You missed a shot, but a foul was called on Sacco.
We call that a nickel dimer. You got him on the elbow. Shorted it.
The third for Sacco. And here comes Straw to the foul line, a guy who has been much improved from the start of the year. He's scoring, he's defending in the paint, and knocking down free throws.
And what a great luxury to have a talent of his size. He's mobile, agile, and defensively, and he's only going to get better as he fills out and learns how to use his body.
And again, that European game that, you know, listen, we call it the city game here, right? But it's the international game, and his opponents maybe not used to some of those things. Here's Huggins 3-point lead for the Royals.
Big possession here for Prep.
Sacco guarded by Zelik. Takes him to the hole. Pops, stops. Ooh, does not get the finish. Foul by Bontemps, his third.
I want to make sure that the viewing public understands. That is a 6'8" forward, putting it on, driving left, drawing the defense, and the foul. That is not easy to do.
And he makes the first. $14 for Sacco. His season high this year, 27.
He's just a terrific player. Sky's the limit.
Oh, Veer Anthony.
Almost had that.
He did. He snuck in from behind. It was the Senna guarding. And like a thief in the night, here comes Veer Anthony.
Those are the little plays that don't show up in the stat sheet, but kind of breaks up, shortens the shot clock, and really is contagious. He's calling the plays out. These guys are locked in. They're familiar.
And there's the steal. Cookies, says Veer Anthony. The contact and the foul.
What a series for that young man. Veer Anthony, the senior leader, knows what to do with it, gets the steal, draws the contact, finishes strong, and one. Like he's in the park. Old school.
The fourth foul on Bontemps as well.
And that's huge because he's been playing great and really been impactful in this game.
And Veer unable to complete the three-point play. But the save by Huggins off Ramirez.
And that's a great hustle play there. Off the free throw miss. Loose ball, kicks it off of Ramirez's leg and retains the possession. Good hustle.
Huggins nearly had his own conversation with the Bishop of Brooklyn, the Most Reverend Robert J. Brennan, right there on the baseline.
How about this? We got a tie game with 3:20 to go. Championship on the line. Sign me up any time of the day for this one.
Sub for Christ the King. Into the game, Aaron Ellis, the freshman from Queens Village.
Coach showing confidence here, making sure he understands. He gives Judah the break because of the foul situation. Going to another young one. Played well in the first half.
Veer Anthony, the kick, the setup, buckets!
You want to talk about decision-making, gets in the lane, draws the defense. He's not going to force it. Kicks it to the freshman to have the confidence to knock down the shot.
A lot of puppies on the court right now. Ramirez fouled by Butler.
And let's take a look at the decision-making. Here you see the foul there on Ramirez on the three.
So Ramirez, we mentioned the Red Foxes up there in Poughkeepsie. That's an offer for him.
And I love him. He's a warrior. He's not having his best offensive night, but he's battling, competing. But these free throws are key now. You're down in the game. Every point counts.
It is standing room only here at Christ the King. He goes 1 of 2, and Joe Arbitello calls a timeout. We mentioned before the all-league selections. We didn't mention the coach and the MVP. There he is, Coach Mass.
How about the year he had for Stepanak? Fantastic season. Well due. Fantastic job for Coach of the Year.
Back-to-back. for Pat Massaroni and your MVP this year. Listen, give me credit. Chris Sweeney next to me knows that I did this. I said in our preseason media day, this would be your MVP. And Halon Rollins backed it up with a terrific year for those Kingsmen out of Nazareth.
And he led the Catholic League in scoring. Terrific prospect, 6'6" do-it-all wing. He is fun to watch.
And this one has been fun to watch as well, as advertised.
A little full court pressure here. Again, making St. Francis Prep work, hopefully speed him up. But well disciplined, breaks the pressure and gets into their half-court set.
Yeah, something tells me they saw that at practice these last few days.
No question.
Vier Anthony. Out to Sacco. Oh, the backdoor cut. Huggins!
Are you kidding me? The Princeton backdoor. What a great execution. And the pass, he threads the needle to Huggins, who catches it and finishes. What a huge play from St. Francis Prep.
Terriers up 52 to 48, 2:37 left. And this has been a renaissance, if you will, for the that's an SAT word for you. For the Terriers, look at the last 3 years, right, of these four. 20 wins, I mean, you give them almost 20 for that other one, not 19 and 9,
That's
but
right.
3 straight semifinal appearances in the intersectionals.
Terrific job by Coach Lynch and his crew. Success at the highest level.
But they're looking to take that one extra step this year. It is special if you get a chance to play on that second Sunday in March up in Rose Hill.
Well, if you execute like they just did just now, that's how you get it done in the playoffs.
But the job tonight, not done yet. There's a foul called, that on Huggins.
And I can't tell you how difficult that was, but to have your best player give up the basketball to a cutter and to have the confidence in the team shows how everyone is committed to sharing the basketball and not really caring who shoots the ball, but get the right shot, as Coach said.
Here's Bontemps. That hit about every part of the rim, but didn't get through the twine.
And those free throw misses may come back to haunt Christ the King. Those are important points here now down the stretch.
Bontemps 1 of 3 from the line, all in the second half. Knocks down the second. Cobb back in the game.
And Coach Arbitello goes offense to defense.
You beat me to it, my man. That's what I was going to say.
He's done a good job on Sacco, a little more physical than the freshman, you know.
And also the freshman, right, in a little bit of foul trouble as well. So you don't want to deal with that with Straw with 3 fouls.
How about this matchup right here?
Butler, he wants this. Butler sticks to the backboard.
And I love the post-up call by Coach there. Get some close to the basket. Great defense by Ramirez. Tough shot. Unfortunate, but possession arrow stays.
And they'll reset the shot clock because it was a change in possession, and the arrow stays with the Terriers. So that could be
huge,
a big 35 seconds.
Because you know they're going to run this down. They will not be sped up. Little side ball screen action, 2-man game.
The kick out, Huggins. Big O on Cobb. The lefty, no good. Butler flies in, and it'll be Christ the King ball. Zelic back in for Cobb.
Offense, defense to offense, offense to defense, and then Sacco was so close. What a great action to get him in the post-up. The lefty just a little off, and credit Christ the King for challenging him.
Ramirez, guarded by Butler. Ramirez switches hands, no good, wild shot. Sacco the rebound, and here is Anthony. Vier Anthony. You think about all the big games. Both of these guys at this point, what, plus 100 varsity games.
And this is what it comes down to here, the last few possessions of a game. Who's going to execute? Who's going to get their shot? And they're going ball screen.
Anthony. Underneath, Butler can't get the finish. We go the other way. Ramirez checks the rear view, a little bit out of control. Here's Alston now. This is Queensbridge versus Whitestone. Out to Bontemps.
And CK needs floor spacing so you can let Alston operate.
Alston, top of the key, front rim, no good. Butler! The Butler did it on the rebound. And he gets fouled by Ramirez.
And that's such a huge defensive stop for St. Francis Prep. And Butler in there battling, fighting and clawing. He says, I can feel it. It's money time. Snatches it. And Judah there trying to make it difficult, but Butler secures it. And now he's going to the free throw line here to get some separation.
Yeah, 2 huge free throws for Ethan Butler. Transferred in a year ago, got his feet wet, got acclimated to the St. Francis Prep system and the way they want to play. And this year has made a major impact on the Terriers. You talk to a lot of coaches, they say, we know who Veer is, we know who O is, that's the 1-2. Butler, a lot of people say, is their X factor.
No question about it. He's had a huge impact on this game. Terrific outing tonight. Performance.
11 for him. And Joe Arbitello wants to talk it over. A 30-second timeout. We showed you the last 4 years for St. Francis Prep. You take a look at the last 4 for Christ the King as well. Champions in that 18-19 pre-COVID era, if you will. And then again, the rise, right? There is no down seasons, there is no rebuild when you are Christ the King basketball and you consider all of the greatness that they have accomplished. 12 Brooklyn Queens championships, 10 intersectional titles back when they had the Federation tournament, whether it was in Albany or Glens Falls, 4 of those titles as well for the Royals.
And coach is going to use some of that success because he knows now he's down 5, 38 seconds. How do I stretch possessions? How do I get more possessions for us? They have to score and try to get turnovers quickly or else they may run out of time.
Zellick, the catch and shoot. High arcing, no good. Look who gets another rebound. Butler, but is it a foul or is it a travel? Casamassa has the travel. So we stay with Christ the King. Shot clock is off. That doesn't mean anything for Christ the King, but it is important for St. Francis Prep.
Yeah, if I'm Christ the King, I'm trying to drive it to the basket, force a foul, try to get 2, score with the clock stopping, sets up our pressure defense, and hopefully try to get a steal in our press.
Both teams also in the bonus, so both will be shooting 2 free throws. Possession arrow, Christ the King's way.
And 32 seconds is an eternity. You don't need threes, but you can't turn it over either, Dylan. That's going to hurt.
And DeSena will go to the foul line. Ziegler picks up his second.
And if you're St. Francis Prep, making free throws the rest of the way is key because they're going to have to keep fouling you. And you want to get defensive stops. You don't want the clock to stop. You want to play solid D and make your free throws.
DeSena in and out on the first.
And that leaves the door open a little bit.
Well, an open door on this Friday night brings in a lot of cold air from outside.
And if I'm Christ the King, excuse me, Dylan, if I'm Christ the King at 29 seconds, I'm still not shooting threes. There is plenty of time for quick 2s, press, foul, and try to play the possession game here down the stretch.
A reminder, tomorrow the scene shifts to the Archdiocesan Championship. And one of the great things I love about this league, and Oliver, I know you're going to agree with me, is the traditions. Like, you know that game is at the Mount. You know it's Saturday. You know the tip-off time at 1 o'clock. It was an incredible atmosphere last year where St. Ray's and Stepinac battled. It was St. Raymond's beating a Stepinac team that had a generational talent in Boogie Flans, a terrific 6'8" three-point shooter in Braylon Ritvo, who now plays for Tompakora at Quinnipiac. Those guys are gone, but the Crusaders are not, right? They're back there. They're back in that game, taking on the Ravens of St. Raymond's.
And look, we know Stepinac season, and they are the hands-down favorite in the playoffs, but it starts tomorrow with getting that 1 seed, and I expect a battle between both of those two great programs, and it's going to be fun to watch.
Now, the one thing that both have, and the same is true of these two teams tonight, as a result of their semifinal win, they get that critical double bye. They both get to sit, maybe rest up a little bit, rest up for a week before their quarterfinal matchups. They need something quick here to do the Royals, so they go to Ramirez for the 3. No good. Loose ball rebound. Where are we going? Ethan Butler. The other rebound won't count, right, because he traveled, but that's 3 huge defensive rebounds down the stretch for the junior.
And those are winning plays, man. You get that when your team is locked in and they're committed to winning, and those are the little things that separate winning from losing. So great job by Butler there, battling to get those rebounds.
Vuk Zelik picked up his first foul. And Butler to the line. A 6-point lead for the Terriers. First is good. We mentioned before, there are Terriers on this team who felt or had that bitter taste of defeat 2 years ago here. Butler not one of those guys. Bontemps in and out. How about another one? How about another rebound for Ethan Butler?
He's had some kind of a game tonight. I know coach is going to be happy.
I think they actually called the jump ball, but again, I'm giving him another rebound. Ziegler lost it, and we are just about set for a celebration for the Terriers. As Sacco with the ball, just dribbles it past midcourt, and St. Francis Prep, they are your Brooklyn Queens champions. They win it 57-49, back-to-back Brooklyn Queens championships for St. Francis Prep, a well-earned championship.
Terrific game, both sides. Nothing to hold their head down about, and exciting for the city playoffs.
We'll take a quick break, and we'll have the trophy presentation on our post-game show when we return here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Every day opens a new door to learn, to grow, to connect with special people. People who in big ways and small improve your life. Every moment, another chance to achieve a goal, to buy a home, grow a business, start a family, and build lifelong relationships. Bank with trust. Bank with experts. Bank Maspeth.
For all the latest Varsity Media updates, including our game schedules, be sure to follow us on social media at Varsity Media, the home for New York high school sports. Varsity Media is now opening up our schedule to any team looking to be on a sportscast. Watching yourself on camera is okay, but hearing your name on a Varsity Media sportscast is like you're a pro.
And look at this opportunity. Feldman behind. Jersey pulled. Feldman! Feldman!
Loose ball, Keyshawn White has it. He's just going to let it fly.
Oh! Keyshawn White from half court. That is cash. What a way to end the third quarter.
As West barks out the signals. West is going to keep it himself inside the 5 to the goal line. Touchdown! Touchdown, Southside.
Varsity Media offers sports coverage for any sport, and our coverage airs live and on demand so everyone can watch the game. Now is the time to be a star on Varsity Media. Contact us to book a sportscast today at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
Back here at Christ the King High School is the post-game awards ceremony as the most Reverend Robert J. Brennan, the Bishop of Brooklyn, handing out the plaques to both teams. Christ the King getting the runners-up trophy. And you and I, this must be their synergy that we have at this point. We both, just before we came back on air, filled out our brackets. And it shows that Christ the King, the number 2 seed out of Brooklyn, Queens, so they'll take on either Iona Prep or Archbishop Malloy in the quarterfinals. St. Francis Prep, the number 1 seed in Brooklyn, Queens, will take on a scary Cardinal Hayes team or Zavarian. Now, Cardinal Hayes and St. Francis Prep met in the quarters last year. And it was St. Francis Prep, a big lead, and they had to fight off that late charge by the Cardinals. So some things to note there. But we are actually set for the second round, right? We have our first round matchups, now our second round matchups. It's Holy Cross St. Peter's, Iona Prep Archbishop Malloy, Nazareth against Scanlon, and then Cardinal Hayes and Zavarian. The double bye goes to Christ the King, St. Francis Prep, Archbishop Stepanak, and St. Ray's. Where will those two teams be tomorrow? Well, you got to wait till about, 3 o'clock or so tomorrow afternoon. And now we'll have, after the runners-up plaque given to Joe Arbitello and Christ the King. One thing that we do know, despite this loss, you wear that Christ the King jersey, you're expected to win and be great. And look to your left here, look at Markel Alston. He is standing on the court and he's watching the award ceremony. And listen, you've been in his shoes. You know that this is the motivation.
Sure, it's
for
burning
the next
him. He lost the
tournament.
game. He's a competitor. He's a winner, you know.
Look at that.
And he played great today, you know. So hats off to him. Great job. Fought hard, and sometimes the ball doesn't go in, and that you can't control. But you can control your attitude, your effort. And he was a warrior today. So nothing to be upset about. Just something to go back and get better at.
What a great look that was, huh? And he's just alone watching and putting it in his brain, right? Into the bank. As the Terriers being introduced, as they all pick up their awards. It is another Brooklyn Queens championship for St. Francis Prep. A team that has won 4 of them, and that is 5, 4 of which are in recent history. You go back to 97, they beat Christ the King, but more recently in 2020, they beat Zavarian by 1 at home. They beat Bishop Lachlan 2 years later at home. They beat Nazareth 2 years later at home. But here they did something that is tough to do. They beat Christ the King at Christ the King in a championship game.
No question. That is not an easy feat. And hats off to Coach Lynch and staff, St. Francis Prep on the Brooklyn Queens Championship. Terrific game. Great to spend time with you and call it. Some high-level athletes on the floor and some great execution on display.
And I'm not sure, Oliver, if this happens tomorrow at maybe 10 o'clock or so, or if Jimmy gives those guys a day off. But I'd imagine at some point during this week off, Jimmy goes, that was great. But now we chase the ultimate prize that we haven't won in a couple generations.
Yeah, and they got it. They got the team and the skills to do it. I mean, you see how unselfish they are. They got a great guard. They got a great big. Their role players are terrific. They can make shots, and they're really well coached, balanced, and they should have their sights set on the top because they're good enough to get there. That's for sure. Won't be easy, but it never is.
And it shouldn't be. Any championship worth winning is difficult to win, as there you see the champions of Brooklyn Queens. Little post-game picture. And once they break that, we expect to be joined by Vera Anthony, who had a terrific game for the Terriers. St. Francis Prep, they go back to back. And Big O holds it up high. Listen, he's the biggest guy there. No one else is touching that one right now.
I love watching these young men celebrate because you work your tail off all year, you know, and it's nice to say good job, job well done. Now the job's not over, but recognize the excellence that was put in. So congrats to those guys.
And they're not quite done yet. Another picture. I think maybe this is for the scoreboard and behind for the Terriers. Unlike in March, there'll be no cutting down of the nets here at Christ the King. But a terrific moment for St. Francis Prep basketball. And look at Veer, loving every moment of it. And we will be joined now with Veer Anthony, the player of the game for us, and Veer, Dylan Oliver here. How special does this feel as a senior to go back to back?
Very special. It's our first part in the journey that we had to in the beginning. City championship. That's all we're looking forward to, and we're gonna make it happen this year for sure.
Veer, congratulations on a great win. Coach talked about your leadership, your toughness, and how you steady the ship. I noticed the unselfishness in crunch time, not caring who shoots the ball. You made some great passes to your teammates. Where does that trust come from, and how important is that for you guys to keep moving forward in the playoffs?
Yeah, every day we practice. Every day we shoot a lot. We shoot a lot of jump shots. So all the trust just comes in with the work. So I trust my guys. All of them work out by themselves and with each other. So all of that builds the trust. It builds the trust for sure.
Veer, you were on this court 2 years ago, attacking the basket to your right when your hopes of a Brooklyn Queens championship fell just short. How special is it to be back on this court at Christ the King and get this W?
Yeah, definitely one of the goals on my bucket list for sure. I wanted to come back, win, because it was a heartbreaking loss my sophomore year because we lost by 1 point, which I feel like we should have won. But sorry, 3 out of 4 is cool. 3 out of 4 is cool.
And listen, the Terriers have not been to that second Sunday in March, the championship game, since 1997, when they lost to a guy named Ron Artest in the championship game in LaSalle. What is it going to take for St. Francis Prep to get back to the championship game?
Hard work, toughness, and dedication. We're in the gym every day, lifting after practices, before practices. So I trust everything. I trust the work, and we're going to show you in March, for sure.
And last one, we were wondering, is it a day off tomorrow, or you're back in the laboratory about 10 o'clock?
Oh, man. I hope it's a day off. Yeah, I hope it's a day off. Yeah.
We'll talk to Jimmy.
Sure,
we'll see if we get you a day off.
For sure, not yet, for sure.
But it was well earned. Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Appreciate it.
On a championship well earned. There's Veer Anthony, the senior leader, point guard. Those are the type of guys, right? And listen, we can do the Catholic League history, but more often than not, when you have a team that wins a championship, they're led there by a senior point guard.
No question about it. And he's got the scars. to motivate. He's got the talent to make it happen, and he's got the backup. I mean, he's got a good team with him. So St. Francis Prep has got as good a chance to win the Catholic League Championship as any team in the city.
And we will see two teams that also have that championship aspiration tomorrow at the Mount. And they are also led by senior point guards Danny Carbucia on one side for Archbishop Stepanak, and on the other side, Ty Turnage for St. Raymond's. That should be a fun one as well. Of course, it is Stepanak. They are the reigning champions, two-time defending champions. And a lot of people will say it's their championship until they're not in it anymore.
That's right. And Stepanak handled business. They beat St. Raymond's twice. So it's really St. Raymond's job to come out and challenge and see if they can knock the king off the castle.
All right. So it should be a fun one in the Archdiocese tomorrow. This was a great one here on a Friday night in Middle Village. What a game that we had here, Oliver. Both of these teams going mano a mano. The two best in Brooklyn, Queens, fighting it out, and eventually it was Vera Anthony and the Terriers winning it. I want to thank our entire Varsity Media crew, our executive producer, Ben Turchin, Chris Sweeney, our technical director, Ron Pierre, Kevin Catalanato, bringing you all those great moving images. For my broadcast partner, Oliver Antigua, Dylan Butler, thanking you for joining us from Middle Village, Queens. We're off to the Bronx tomorrow for the Archdiocese right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.